Hi friend, do you ever feel like standard leadership advice just doesn't work for you? Well, welcome to Leadership from Within. In this podcast, we will discover your unique leadership style. We dive into the world of MBTI and the Big Five. We shape leadership strategies that truly fit you. Join us on this journey to find out the one-of-a-kind leader you are. Let's get started. In the second part of our talk, Joe shares the importance of risk-taking for success and standing out. His readiness to question usual ways and his forward-thinking mindset are typical of ENFP leaders. They are known for sparking change and paving new ways in their industries.
If you want to be successful, you have to find something that's going to set you apart. Everything you do is risky. It just depends on how risky you want to get. And in content creation, so let's be specific to what we're talking about with content creation. If you're doing the same old stuff and you are not being risky, or you're doing the same thing as everyone else, you probably aren't going to be successful. So if you are covering a topic and you're calling it the same as everything else, and you're covering the same types of articles and videos as other people would, that is that you might think that that's the safe way to go, but it's absolutely the worst thing you can do. So if you're saying, okay, well, I need to take a little bit of a risk, put myself out there and change, there's way more benefit to going that direction. So, I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at risk. You could also say that creating the same content as everyone else is the most risky thing. So what's the safer thing? To create something that nobody else is doing. On paper, it looks like it's risky, but it's probably a good business decision. So with anything that I've looked at in my career, I was like, okay, well, there's not a lot of content marketing events out there. It's risky to do a content marketing event because nobody's seen success doing it, but nobody's seen success doing it. So if we do happen to get a little bit of momentum, the payoff will be huge, because we could be the leading event in the content marketing space, which actually came true because there was nobody else doing that at the time. This is back in 2011. So, I mean, do I do like a formal risk analysis and say, okay, well, should I make this decision or this decision? I do that more personally with my financials. So I'll look at, okay, here's a risky investments that I want to go for. I think the payoff will be bigger. This one's not so risky. But it's a little bit safer. That to me is different than content creation. I almost feel like if you're getting in to creating content, you have to take a risk, or you will get drowned out by everything else that's out there. So it's almost, you don't even have to do an analysis. You're like, okay, I have to take a risk. I have to position myself differently. I have to do something that nobody else is doing, because why would they stop paying attention to whatever they're paying attention to if we're not doing something that's different?
Joe then talked about his groundbreaking journey in content marketing. He outlined how he set a new industry standard. His story is a great source of inspiration for anyone stepping into uncharted territory looking to make their mark in a new field.
When I launched what became Content Marketing Institute in 2007, the industry was not called content marketing. It was called custom publishing, custom media, custom content, brand journalism. There was no consensus on what it could be called. I came up with, I mean, it wasn't like those two words hadn't ever been put together, but nobody was using the phrase content marketing for the industry of companies becoming little media companies in essence, and building these audiences and then monetizing these audiences as part of marketing. So it was a little bit of a chance. It was a little bit risky to go out there and put all my chips on that bet and say this phrase is going to be the phrase. But I did enough research. I met with enough chief marketing officers that the term resonated with those people. It meant more. And if you're in marketing and you want something to get attention, you better be calling it marketing. So I didn't think that it would take off and be called custom publishing or custom media or branded journalism, because those words didn't resonate with marketing people. But when you call things like search marketing and social media marketing and direct marketing, it resonates with the marketer. They're simple people, simple needs. You don't want to overcomplicate it. So we said, oh, maybe content marketing is the thing. So we took a little bit of a chance on going in that direction. And then, named the entire company, obviously Content Marketing Institute, because we believed that was going to be the discipline, and got a little bit lucky that it was, but did a lot of the right things initially. And a lot of the thought leaders in the space we were talking to, and we would say, hey, we think this might be the term. What do you think? And they gave us feedback, and we kept moving forward. We did a lot of research in this area. We called it content marketing research. We started to create content so that it would be found in Google and shared and those types of things. So naming an industry is always a risky thing to do, but it can have a big payoff. And if you're going to go that direction, like I decided to go, you need to make sure it's going to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years, especially when you're breaking into an industry that's not used to change like that. So that's probably the riskiest thing that I ended up doing. But in hindsight, it was the best decision, because it helped me and our organization stand apart from what everybody else was doing.
Joe also discussed how taking risks helped him overcome challenges early in his career, highlighting the importance of risk-taking in professional growth.
I put myself in incredibly uncomfortable situations and saw opportunities in those. And if I go back to the things when I just got started in working, I never worked in radio before. I'd never been on air. There was this one position that was paying nothing, but I said, man, if I could get good at doing that and being on radio and doing live remotes, that's really going to help me become a better person, or it's going to open doors for me. So I ended up doing a bunch of live remotes on the radio and not get paid anything. But it was wonderful, amazing experience. And I still have some relationships from today. When I was I got my master's degree from college, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I couldn't find a job. I tried interviewing with a bunch of different places, and they were like, Joe, you've got too much education and not enough experience. We don't want to hire you. And I didn't want to do it, but I just went to a temp agency. And at that time, when you go to a temp agency, it was not looked highly upon. It was sort of your last ditch effort. There was a lot of people that thought that was negative to go do that. I went and did it, and I had a master's degree, and mostly what I was doing for the next 6 months, I was just filing. I was filing papers, and I didn't think it was beneath me. I just really needed work of any kind, and I was willing to do just about anything to get there. And that's probably another learning is that I didn't care how it looked. I didn't care what people thought. I'm like, well, I need to do this in order to take the next step. And I went ahead and did it. So I think it's just, if I came up upon a situation, because I mean, ENFP aside, in a lot of cases, I feel like an introvert. I feel reticent to go try something new, but whenever I get that feeling, I just always try to push through it and say, well, most people probably wouldn't do this, so that means I got to go ahead and do it and give it a try. And in almost all cases, I've come up with some learning experience or some relationship or something that's really helped me move forward. And I think the only thing I'll add to that is that what's really helped me in my growth from accomplishing anything is writing down my goals and what do I want to accomplish and reviewing those goals on a regular basis. So I started this like 20 years ago, just from reading books like 7 Habits by Stephen Covey and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, just for some examples. But I would write down, okay, what is my career goal? And I try to be very specific with that. What is my financial goal? Be specific, how much, by what time, spiritual goal, a philanthropic goal, physical goal. And I would write those things down. And every day I would read those to myself and start to hopefully mentally own those and keep those top of mind. And that process of doing that, it almost just, you don't know exactly when, but you're making those things happen as you're reviewing those on a regular basis. So my advice to anyone who's younger is always write down your goals. If you can use a pen and paper, please do that. Review them on a regular basis. They will come true, and you'll start to identify things that you need to do to accomplish those goals because you're looking at it every day. Like, oh, I want to stay in size 34 pants, or I want to do 100 push-ups at one time. That might be a physical goal. Or I want to sell my company for $10 million by whatever year. Things that might be laughable, as long as you can review those on a regular basis and you get those set in your mind, you'll start dreaming about them. You'll wake up thinking about them, and you'll start to create reality of these things that may not have seemed possible years before. So the whole writing down and reviewing goals is very, very important, has been important in my life.
Thanks for being with us today on Leadership from Within. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to empower your leadership journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to subscribe and share it with others. And remember, if you have any specific questions about leadership, we're just an email away. See you in the next one.